But there was for our game against the Cardinals, who we just crushed in the playoffs. I actually was inactive that game, and you can stop me if you've heard this before, John.
Not yet. No. This one I haven't heard.
Well, I was inactive for that game, and I was really disappointed. Very disappointed. I hadn't been inactive all season. All 16 games I had played. But for the playoffs, our first playoff game, I was inactive. I wasn't pulled up. I didn't dress. I was on the sideline, but I was inactive because they had to move some people around because of injuries. Mm-hmm. And I was really frustrated. I was a little bitter, almost like, really, Sean? After all, 16 games, I slaved over this. I've beat and now I don't get to celebrate in the spoils. Right. I was a little bitter, so I was a little selfish and pouty that game, and I wasn't dressed out, and I was in the locker room before the game. Steve Gleason comes walking by, and he's like, "Hey, man, you okay?" And I said, "Man, you know what? I'm not okay." And I just kind of shared with him, this really sucks right now. I'm disappointed. And Steve looked at me, sat down with me, and goes, "I know how you feel. I've been up and down. That was my whole career. I get that." And he said, "Can I share something with you?" And I said, "Please." And he said, right before we entered the Dome again after Katrina, when we played the Falcons, he said, I was inactive. I don't know if he said 1 or 2 or 3 games before. And he goes, and I was pissed, And he goes, I vowed to myself, when the next time I get in, I'm going to do something big. And sure enough, probably the most famous play in Saints history is the block punt. And that was Steve Gleason coming back, and he said, "Chris, next time you get a chance to get in," he goes, "and I believe you will, make sure it counts. Make sure it counts." And I held on to that. And I'm sure I played the Vikings game, but I even held on to that going into the Super Bowl, because most people don't realize going into the Super Bowl, this might be out there, but there was a really good chance that I was going to be inactive based upon some injuries and stuff like that. So Steve's voice just rang back in my mind. If you get in, make sure you make it count. And Steve was a big voice in my life in those earlier years, with the Saints and moving forward. And, that was, I remember that. So after, I made that play and recovered that onside kick, I just kind of flashed back to Steve's going, make sure you make it count when you get in, and make sure something big is going to happen and you're a part of it. And, you only get a certain amount of plays when you're a special teams person. Maybe if you're lucky, maybe 20 plays a game. So you better make those count.